They said a football match is 90 minutes. They lied, because the real action, that's in the replay arguments at 2 a.m., the banter that ruins family dinners, and the group chats that never sleep. This AFCON, we're not just watching the matches, we're living everything that comes after. Beyond 90, where the real game lives.
Hello and welcome back to our AFCON analysis show on Beyond 90. I remain your host, Bobby, and this is
Dion.
And today we're going to be talking the road to the AFCON final because it has been such a hectic road. Yep. We have the final four at the moment: Senegal, Egypt, Morocco, and Nigeria. Of course our darling Super Eagles of Nigeria. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. We have the Nigerian national team who have been basically blowing everybody away. You know, they've been absolutely immense with their performance. The front three of Lookman, Akko Adams, and Osimhen.
Very prolific. Yeah.
Well, what do you have to say about that?
I mean, the contributions speak for themselves. Osimhen on 4 goals. Lookman is leading the charts with goal contributions. Yeah. He has 3 goals, 4 assists, the most already, and they've been playing so well. Scored 14 goals. One of the best offensive side, if not the best offensive side so far, the AFCON. And again, through to the semi-final.
And let's just take a moment to talk about the way I say we because we're also Nigerians, the way we dismantled the Algeria national team. I was expecting a much tougher game with what Algeria did. I was expecting Algeria to, put up a stronger fight. I mean, they are not pushovers. We have Aït-Nouri who plays for Manchester City at the moment. We have Marius who's an African football legend. Samandi is also here. So this was a very, very strong Amoura up front and Massa as well. Very strong Algerian team, but the way we blew them, they did not have a sniff. I felt like that was our most convincing performance throughout the AFCON so far. And then who are your standout performers for Nigeria? It's
the usual suspects really, because let's start with the tactical setup that Eric has played, 4-3-1-2, Lookman playing behind the 2 strikers. Yes. And the 2 strikers have worked so well, complementing themselves. You have 2 strikers with immense physical presence, that are great with their duels, have aerial ability like Osimhen, Airways Osimhen, as he's been called. Lookman just running things behind. And the standout performer for me has been Iwobi. Everyone just works so well. They work like a well-clogged system. Each part is, doing their various duties.
Yes.
But the midfield trio have worked so well, Ndidi being the defensive powerhouse, Onyeka bumping up and also dropping back to help the defense. But Iwobi has been a visionary in them in the middle of the park, Just those line-breaking passes into the channel. We saw it come again against Algeria. That pass to, and what has he been doing? The secondary assist.
Yes.
Lookman has been getting more of the primary assist, but the secondary assist, those passes that eventually change the start. He's dictating play, covering a lot of ground. Iwobi has been phenomenal for the Super Eagles this time and has been crucial to how the midfield has been playing, linking up with the defense and the offense. So Iwobi has just been,
I agree. If we go back to the tactical, I agree with what you said. And just to touch on what you said, I feel like Eric Schell is a coach that has propelled the Super Eagles to the next level tactically. I dare say that since probably the Super Eagles of 96 who won the Olympics, I've not seen us play this much fluent and free-flowing attacking football with everybody understanding. And just to touch on what Eric Schell is trying to do with the Super Eagles and the tactical point of view. We're talking about the front three where we have Adams and Osimhen play as 2 center forwards. These are players that are also as strong as they are. They're also very mobile, so they can also always drift out wide to receive passes from Osimhen. But I just want to touch on our fullbacks, Bruno Oyemaichi and Bright Osai Samuel. Now, it is a level of understanding with player profile that we work with. And this is the anchor, right, protects the center back. Onyeka has that box-to-box ability where you see him here, and also he's a workhorse basically in that midfield. And Iwobi is the creative spark. But here is why I really feel like Eric Schell tactically is doing a masterclass. Because of Onyeka's ability to bomb up and come down, there's a level of protection from the right-hand side that Onyeka can, offer the Super Eagles. That allows Bright Osai Samuel to join the attack. And if you watch the game against Algeria, Osai Samuel was the fullback he had an outstanding game. He was always in and around here, causing problems, delivering the crosses. Oyemaichi at the other part, yes, he got the assist for Osimhen, but Oyemaichi did not go high as Bright Osai Samuel. He was mostly
an extra body in defense.
Yeah, because now Iwobi does not have. He's the creative player. He does not have the box-to-box ability or the workhorse or the work engine that Onyeka has. He's left with creative. So Bruno knows that his ability to go forward,
he
can leave too much space, exactly. And that just goes to show how Eric Schell has perfectly analyzed the Super Eagles and the player profile, and that just works perfectly for us.
I agree with you. I mean, the fullbacks have been very crucial, exactly what you said, because every time, the Super Eagles were good with transition, but also, when out of possession, the tactical setup changes, and while Osai Sama can really get further high on the pitch, using the half spaces and whatnot, putting those crosses in, Bruno also he can do that, but he has a more laid-back approach, just to cover the spaces so that the enemy cannot run in between. And just to highlight in terms of crosses and what the fullbacks have been doing, in the game against Algeria, there were about 24 crosses from the Super Eagles. 10 were on target. So when you have profiles like Adams and Osimhen, it gives you the ability to be able to launch those crosses. And if the delivery is very good, you can actually get a lot of offensive returns. Take the assist Bruno got for Osimhen. The cross was beautiful, the delivery, but also Osimhen's ability the jumping ability to latch onto it, and the technical ability to put it at the back of the net.
I'm totally agree. Now, speaking of the crossing, like I said, this is a scenario where we see Akpo Adams pulling out wide, because they are two very, very mobile strikers. They don't have a problem pulling out to the wing.
It's a changing.
Yes, exactly. And then when he gets here, Osimhen is here in and around the edge of the box. You see the likes of Lookman arriving there. But now let's just speak about Osimhen and the understanding of his movement. He's what I like to call a back post predator. Because for centre forwards, when you're in and around the edge of the box, where you have to deal with the two centre backs, especially the centre back, the centre backs are more drilled to defending these crosses than the full backs. So when a striker like Osimhen, who is aerially dominant, is in and around the
6-yard box,
and he chooses the back post, that's because more often than not he gets to compete with the full back. The full back is not necessarily as aerially dominant as the centre back would be, and that leads to him, all the goals will be saying. We'll see this cross from Akpo Adams, so it's from Bruno Onyemaechi as well, where he's here. We have the right back, we have the two centre backs here, but he peels away towards here, and before you know, this is the closest person to him. This is out of equation. This is the closest person. He has already lost him, and he gets his header, and that just goes to show again. But see Lookman already in the box as well. Akpo Adams is probably in and around the area as well,
and that's why you get to appreciate the technical ability that the forwards we possess have. Akpo Adams and Osimhen. Not only do they have that ability, the understanding between them, the link of play, they understand that each person complements the other's skill set. While they are big, they are strikers with very different profiles. Osimhen would rather go for the aerial duels. Akpo Adams, not so much with aerial ability, but the movement and also the hold-up play, then the physicality. He's a very strong forward, and they've linked up so well. Then the crosses coming in, they know that Osimhen has one of the, if not the best jumping ability at the AFCON so far at this point now. So you know that if you have a mobile striker that is great in the air, you can easily put the ball into the box. And knowing fully well that he evades pressure so well, the defenders find it very difficult to mark him. And then again, we have offensive situations where the Super Eagles can profit. So it's just fantastic to watch how the manager is utilizing all this to give the Super Eagles the image right now they have at the AFCON as being an offensive powerhouse on the front.
Also love the fact that the crosses always come in very early, so the defense don't even get time to settle down, to think or to
and they're struggling. And you're stuck between either ball watching or even trying to watch the man. But against a forward like Osimhen, it's very hard.
Look at the number of players. If we go back to the previous one, look at the number of players we have in and around the box for an attack. We've got Bruno who puts in the cross here. He will be in here. This is Frank Onyeka. This is Bright Osai Sama, who's a right back. And this is Akpo Adams. This just shows the attacking intent. And this is the game against Tunisia, I think. And it just goes to show that Eric Schell, in contrast to Jose Peseiro, who took us to the final on our last AFCON. This is just a different mindset. The mindset is outscore your opponents, defeat them with goals as much as you can.
And if you look at the opposing team have the numerical advantage. There's 7 of them, but look at the number of individuals the Super Eagles have in the box. Just 2. But yet, this turned out to be a goal. It just goes to show you that, the team are complementing themselves. They've worked on the routines, time in, time out on the training ground. And what we're seeing on the field of play is an actual representation of how good the Super Eagles have been since the start of the tournament up until this point.
Fully agree. This is the goal against Tunisia, Lookman's play against Tunisia, and it comes from a counter-attack. And look at the number of bodies we have. At this point, it shows that we're not even a one-dimensional team.
Yeah, the goals can come from anywhere.
We'll be speaking about the crosses and how we like to get the crosses early, but this is if we could. I know we can't show the whole play, but this came from it will be passed towards Osimhen, and then
secondary assist.
Akol is attracting 2 defenders on his own. Lookman had all the space, and he did the damage and got the goal for us.
Yeah, Lookman crashes the box late. You have the 2 centre halves, who are constantly a thorn in the flesh of the Tunisian defence. And again, with Iwobi and the vision, always picking up the passes from deep in the midfield. Like I said, the vision has just been really, really good from Iwobi, and the ability to pick out Osimhen in space has been phenomenal, and he does that on this occasion. Osimhen with hold-up play, he allows the man to come close to him, and then they've taken out the attention away from Lookman, who's just running into the box with acres of space to operate in, and then he picks him out. And you understand why Osimhen probably, had a bone to pick with Lookman that day for not picking out the freer man in space, which is working so well. Once you have your opponent in a better position, pass the ball, which increases your chances of scoring against your opposition and increases your chances of even winning the game. And the Super Eagles have done that so well. This is the first time we've won 5 games, directly in a row, subsequently in the competition.
Would you say that? I want to highlight on Alex Iwobi, and we'll be speaking about him and how well his performances has been. Would you say Alex Iwobi at this point in time is playing his best football of his career?
In the national team, yes. I wouldn't, in his career, in the full picture of his career. Holistically, I wouldn't say so, but in the national team, this is the best. We all can agree with saying Alexander Iwobi.
Because it's been amazing since he came to since it's been a Fulham.
And
they have that Nigerian call of himself, Basi and Samuel Chukwueze, who just joined from.
And if you look at how his career club-wise, he has played, all the clubs he's played for have been in the Premier League. Everton, Arsenal, and now Fulham. And he's the most creative person in that Fulham setup. Well, one of the most creative people in the Fulham setup. Last season, he had the most assists in the Fulham team right now. But, his performances from the club side and to the countryside, they've always been very contrasting.
Yes.
They've always had issues, people.
I remember
fans have called out
where he was being
called out his commitment.
Yes.
But this version of Alexander,
it feels like he's coming to this AFCON with a point to prove.
Exactly. And he has proven his naysayers wrong with the quality of performances. Just being that he's enjoying his football, and it's evident on the field of play. He's so comfortable on the ball, the way he dictates play, is carrying out the manager's instructions, and he's doing it so well in a setup that looks very suited to his playing style, and it's working well. The way it's churning out, creating opportunities for the team has been so good for the Super Eagles up until this point, and we hope that they can continue with the sort of momentum into the semi-final against Morocco.
Let's move on to Victor Osimhen, who is closing in on Rashidi Yekini's record. I remember he was asked if he thinks that if he's thinking about the record, obviously he says no, which you expect most of the strikers to say nowadays. Well, he said no, that even if he breaks the record, Rashidi Yekini remains the greatest striker that Nigeria has
agreed.
And it seems to be something you agree with. But I think this breaking this record puts him on the pedestal, especially if it comes with an AFCON trophy. Puts him on the pedestal where you start thinking, I know there's an onus on him to want to be humble about it. Rashid is a legend, he got our first goal at the World Cup and all of that. But would you start thinking, if this record comes at this AFCON and Nigeria ends up winning the AFCON, where does that put Osimhen in terms of the ranks of the greatest strikers we've ever had in Nigeria?
Definitely one of the greats. Definitely one.
And obviously, at the moment, it's still one of the greats. Does he become number one for you?
No, not yet.
If he gets to 38 at this AFCON and we win the AFCON, does that put him at number one for you?
It doesn't put him in number one, but it definitely puts him in that conversation.
What gets him to number one for you?
What gets him to number one? I think the consistency continues. While he's definitely going to break that record at this AFCON, hopefully, moving forward, he's won the CAF Best Player Award before, so he's no stranger to winning awards, and for all he's done in his career, I think he can build up with the momentum first. Osimhen has not played at the World Cup, so playing at the World Cup, I think, is definitely part of that conversation too. Unfortunately, the Super Eagles haven't been at their best with World Cup qualifications for the last 2 editions, so it hasn't been positive for our World Cup qualifications aspiration. So if that can be added to that, for Osimhen win the AFCON too, we definitely put your name among the greats.
Just before we move from there, I'm just taking a look at the goal to game ratio. Right here, we have Yakubu 21 goals, 57 caps. The legendary Bishop Odegbami 23 goals, 46 caps. We have Rashidi Yekini, the legend, bless his soul. 37 goals in 62 caps. But then we have Victor Osimhen with 35 goals in 51 caps.
And counting.
So we really need to start looking at, well, let's just wait till
like I said, one of the greats.
We're looking at the top scorers now of this tournament, and no surprises here.
Right.
Literally the biggest names in the tournament at this point. We have Brahim Diaz with 5 goals. He's managed to score in every single game he has played, and he's a player that most people thought was going to nationalize for Spain. He chose his African roots
because he had his foundational football with the Spanish team.
Yes, but he ended up choosing his national roots, Morocco, and that looks to be paying off for him.
And I think he just did that September last year.
Yeah, it was very
recent.
So, like I said, now most of the players here that you could see, especially the top 3 right now, they are coming to this tournament with a point to prove. Yes, we have Brahim Diaz who just switched to Morocco. He needs to show that, look, this is not a fluke. Switching over here. We have Victor Osimhen, who people have been saying as good as you haven't won anything for the Super Eagles, and you have Mo Salah, who Jamie Carragher has been saying hasn't won anything with Egypt so far.
And to be fair, that's the truth.
Yeah, and they really are the men that are propelling their team. We also have the likes of Ademola Lookman, who's got 3 goals. Riyad Mahrez, who's most of them have been knocked out, but we have Ademola Lookman, who has 3 goals and 4 assists, and we should keep an eye on. So, who's your money on to finish on as a scorer?
I mean, it's tough, really. I want to say Osimhen, but the way Brahim Diaz has started this campaign like a house on cards, and I've been watching him. He's been very, very deadly. The way he's been attacking spaces, and for the numbers speak for itself. Really.
Yeah, they do.
Objectively, I would say Diaz, but if I want to lean with the fan side of things, the emotional side,
Osimhen. And now we look at the goal contributions, of course. Once again, Ademola Lookman leads the chart, 3 goals, 4 assists. Victor Osimhen with 4 goals and 2 assists. Brahim Diaz with 5 goals, Mo Salah 4 goals, 1 assist. Akpo Adams 2 goals, 2 assists. Sadio Mane 1 goal, 3 assists. Amad Diallo 3 goals, 1 assist. Yakubu Kabi 3 goals, 1 assist.
2 bicycle kicks.
This is beautiful to 2 bicycle kicks. The bicycle kick specialist. It's beautiful to see because when we talk about the Super Eagles, we like to focus on the attack, and it's beautiful because now the numbers are speaking for it. So we have 3 of our major attackers on the chart for the goal contribution, and that just goes to show at the moment, because when you come up against, for Morocco coming up, we're going to have a semi-final game between Morocco and Nigeria, right? For Nigeria, mostly will be thinking, how do we look at Brahim Diaz? Is their danger man, and El Kabi too might pop in with one, but the major danger here is Brahim Diaz. But for us now, you have to start thinking, there's Lookman, there's Osimhen, there's Akpo Adams, and there's Iwobi controlling things from midfield. So at this point, it begins to, as if you are a Moroccan, who will be your major threat? How do you deal with this conflict as an attack?
It's a very tough question because every team that has faced the Eagles have been unable to deal with the top 3. Deal with trio up front of Victor Osimhen, Lookman, and also Akpo Adams. So it's going to be very tough. I think the Moroccans would be sweating right now, thinking of ways they can actually curb this man. But a player that I think, if they can, stifle, would have a problem is Iwobi, because Iwobi controls a lot of things, picking out passes, exactly, finding players in space, and if you can stop the chief creator or a player who's actually been running things behind the scenes, if you can stop him from being able to link up with these players, it will definitely take out a lot of creativity. So I think a player that they will be looking at is Iwobi, and also trying to stop the runs from Lookman and also Akpo Adams and even Osimhen, blocking Osimhen from an aerial threat. Maybe they will be watching to avoid giving the Super Eagles set piece situations and whatnot. So it's going to be very, very tough stopping those individuals.
We'll see how it turns out. The assist charts, Ademola Lookman, of course, at the moment the king of the assist. Sadio Mane, the African legend as well. Who is? I feel like people are just looking at Senegal and saying, Senegal. They are a problem.
Very interesting team.
They got a semi-final with Egypt. Where
Salah,
Mane, and there's a 2022 whole drama.
Exactly.
For the AFCON, was it the AFCON final?
Yeah, AFCON final. So the last time Senegal won, they won at the expense of Egypt. Because they met Egypt in the final.
And I think they knocked Egypt out of the World Cup qualifiers too as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of that would be a game to watch out for, because
there's a lot of
bad blood between the two of them at the moment.
Backstory, the right
the football script right now. We've got 2 assists from one Operi Unahi, who had an amazing 2022 FIFA World Cup. Yes, Samuel Chukwueze of Fulham, Alex Iwobi, chief creator as well. Lyle Foster, Akpo Adams, even Victor Osimhen has popped up with a couple assists. Dango Tara of Brentford at the moment. Yes, he's also doing his thing for his team. And of course, El Hadj Musa of Feyenoord, yes, and Algeria, he's also popping up with the assists. But Lookman leads the chart, and we hope that we hope that it ends in a situation where, you know, Nigeria win, Osimhen gets the golden boots, Lukman gets the highest assist, and then Iwobi wins player of the tournament. And that's just perfect streak for Nigeria. But we'll see how it turns out as we move on to the next slide. Oh, but that's about it. That's all we have for the AFCON. And like I said, we've got the two heavyweights semi-finals. We've got Nigeria versus Morocco. We've got Senegal versus Egypt. I'll just take a quick prediction from you and see who you are tipping for the final.
I mean, it's a tough one, but Egypt, Senegal, I think Egypt has a lot of bad blood with Senegal, given that they are going in for a revenge mission.
Yes.
And Egypt have actually been scoring a lot of goals. In their last 2 games in knockout stages, they scored 3 per game. So, you know, they're potent attacking side. I think they're going to edge this one against Senegal. 2-1. It's not going to be easy, but I think I'll be tipping Egypt to book their place in the final. Nigeria, Morocco, the toughest one. I don't want to have to make a prediction, but you have to. You have to do what you have to. It's not going to be easy. I don't know. Maybe the game might be won on a penalty shootout. 1-1 normal then. Penalty shootout.
Who do you think to win?
I'm trying my best to dodge this question.
Who is going to the final?
Let's just say Nigeria. I won't say Morocco. People will come for me.
To be honest, I agree with you. I think there's a good chance of seeing Nigeria Egypt final. I don't see, as good as Senegal have been, I'm not underrating them. I don't see Senegal knocking out Egypt. It's too much motivation for Egypt coming into this tournament.
The quality that we have too, yes. Especially for a team that largely consists of home-based talent. You have players from, you know, Al Ahly and also Zamalek that comprise of that team. But then you also have a potent attacking threat with Mohamed Salah and Mamouche, very mobile forward. So yeah, I think
it's just an extra spice to the I'm sure their coach Osama San will have been bringing it to, hey, this is Senegal. We can't let them remember what happened in 2022. For Nigeria versus Morocco, like I said, Nigerians have a lot to prove. They missed out on the World Cup. That's going to hurt a lot of Nigerians. It's still hurting a lot of Nigerians. So this is a way out, some sort of redemption for missing out on the World Cup. To compensate the Nigerian fans and AFCON trophy. So we're looking at the Nigeria-Egypt final from our both predictions. And there you have it for Beyond 90 today, for our quarterfinal analysis and semi-final preview. And we look forward to seeing you for the final.